Visha, welcome to my channel. So I have shifted to the mountains for the second time in 2 years. This is Beed in Himachal Pradesh. Most people know it as Asia's highest site for paragliding, but there's so much more to this place. And I think now I can safely call it home. So I thought I'll share how a typical day on the mountains looks like for me, along with sharing the cost of living over here, both from the perspective of a tourist who might want to be here for a few weeks or someone who might want to live here long term. Let's go. Since it's a small mountain town, everything shuts by 10 p.m. So people here like to start their day early, and I also like to be a part of that rhythm and start my day in between 6 to 8 a.m. The first thing I do is go to this balcony, soak in the views, often with a book in my hand. I also like to make my own breakfast, which most of the times is a very low effort smoothie, which brings me to the first point of cost of living, which is accommodation. Now pre-COVID, the rent was really low, but after COVID, when a lot of digital nomads have started to make Beed as their base, the prices have become relatively expensive, but it's still very affordable. For example, whenever I have stayed here, I have paid on an average between 15 to 20,000 a month for a place which has always had a kitchen, a balcony, a common area, a bedroom. So the place can always be can easily be shared by 2 people. And you know what? I also know a friend who has an yearly contract and pays around 9,000 per month for even a better setup, like a good view and kitchen and balcony and 1 bedroom setup. So it really varies. Even though it's a very small town, it also varies on the location that you want to reside in. But if I still have to give you an average, you can consider between the range of 8,000 to 12,000 per person per month, depending on where you choose to stay, what all amenities you need, and stuff like that. My personal suggestion would be to first come here, spend a couple of weeks, maybe just stay in an Airbnb, hostel, hotel, whatever you find online, and see if the mountain life is really for you, because trust me, it looks very rosy from the outside, those green mountains and those golden sunsets and everything, but it has its own set of challenges. Like for example, it's monsoons right now, and sometimes you don't have electricity for an entire day. Imagine how would you remotely work in a setup like that. Sometimes, I have permanent roommates with me now who are insects and random spiders and just insects I had never seen or heard of before. There's no Instamart, so you cannot expect groceries in 9 to 12 minutes. You have to go out and you have to do a lot of your work by yourself. The weather can get really unpredictable and so much more. So come here, see if this life is genuinely for you, and if you do end up making your mind, then choosing a place offline would be much better than online, because when you just walk around, there's so many places hidden here and there and you won't find them listed online anywhere. So just whenever you've made up your mind, walk around, look for places. It might take a little bit of effort, but it'll be worth it. So next, I like to start my work, which is either editing, filming, scripting, and on days when it's not filming, I like to go and work from a cafe. And I have to say, the cafe culture in Beed is like no other that I've seen on the mountains. Maybe I think the next that comes close is Kasar Devi in Uttarakhand. But yeah, Beed has all kinds of cuisine, all kind of food, and so fresh, so reasonable. Everything is just so nice. Okay, not to digress, let's now talk about food and groceries. So when you're living somewhere for a longer duration, you will obviously prefer home-cooked meals. You have 2 options. You can either cook by yourself or you can have someone cook for you. So I have friends who have been staying here for years, and Didi comes to their place and cooks 3 meals and charges around 3,000 per month on an average. So you can expect to pay that much for house help, be it cooking, cleaning, whatever you prefer. And if you talk about groceries, I think on an average 5 to 7,000 per month is something that you can expect to spend. And here you can, so there's this huge local store over here where you can find all kinds of groceries, and even on in small shops you can find everything, everything. I saw there's rice paper, there's literally everything. No matter what cuisine you want to cook, you can get groceries over here. And if you eat outside, like for example, sometimes I don't like cooking just for one person a lot of time, so I just go out and eat at dhabas, which again is very healthy and fresh food. So they would serve dal, chawal, roti, sabzi or rajma chawal, stuff like that, home cooked, for anywhere between 120 to 150 rupees, which is also pretty decent. So at dhabas, you can expect to pay that much. And if you go out to eat at cafes, you can expect to pay anywhere between 300 to 600 per person. So I think with all of this information, you will be able to devise a budget which will be allocated towards food and groceries. You know, even in cafes, sometimes I found food so nice and reasonable. Like the other day, I was eating at Garden Cafe and I had pasta for around 180 rupees, and the kind of quantity and quality that it was, I would easily be paying around 400 rupees in Delhi for the same thing. So that way, even some cafes are very, very reasonable here. In the evenings, I like to watch the sunsets of Beed because they are golden and magical. Like, I remember the last time I was living here, I would walk every day to the landing site and watch. Now I think I just prefer to watch the sunset, be it from a terrace at a cafe, my own place, or just from the landing site, anywhere. So generally, I prefer to walk around everywhere. Beed in itself is very, very walkable, but if you still have to rent a scooty for a month to be able to have that flexibility to go just anywhere at any time, then scooties here, if you take a scooty on rent for one day, they charge around 600 to 700 rupees. If you take for a month, that might come down to 400 rupees a day, which I think is still a little on the pricey, on the expensive side. So for me personally, what works is to still walk around wherever I want to go and take scooty per day basis pay whenever I want to go somewhere further away, like to experience this or to go for toy train experience or just any other spot nearby. Then I would rent a scooty on a daily basis. Or if you're a group of 3 to 4 people, taking a cab might prove to be even more reasonable. So for me personally, the commute cost sometimes just turns out to be zero, or it would be whatever I choose to rent for a few experiences that I would plan to do in the month. I also try to squeeze in 1.5 hours on most days to go to the gym, either before I start my work or in the evening. I'm so grateful there's a gym over here with all the required facilities. For males, it's I think 2,000 per month, and for females, it's 1,500 per month as of now. And I think that's a pretty good deal because, see, as a constant traveler, you cannot take those year-long or 2-year-long memberships at any particular gym. So I remember the last time I took a membership for 1 month when I was in Delhi, I paid 4,000 per month. So for me, it's a pretty good deal. I'm happy. And yeah, I mean, that way you're just able to stay fit while also traveling slow. Some more very quick points like electricity. Where right now it's monsoon, so a lot of times there's no electricity. But in general, when I spoke with my friends, it turns out that, you know, in most months they pay around 400 to 500 rupees, and maximum that has gone for them has been like 1,000 rupees when they've used the heater a lot. So that to me is pretty nice. There will be some more miscellaneous expenses when you plan to live here long term, like gas cylinder, जैसे one time आपको लगेगा 1,000 rupees, refill में आपको लगेगा 900 rupees, or if you want to set up your own space, buy some furniture, or just get some utensils for the kitchen. By the way, all of that is also available here. So yeah, that would be an additional cost. Plus, there are so many cool workshops happening over here, especially when you come in the season. So there's a Deer Park Institute over here, and like pottery, filmmaking, yoga, lot of skills, a lot of very cool workshops are happening over here. So do consider them as well if that's, you know, your area of interest. So yeah, these were some miscellaneous costs. And then to end my day, I either sometimes would catch up with my friends or would just go out for dinner alone or cook my own dinner, whatever, like depending on the mood, and just call it a day. And I like to sleep early and wake up early here on the mountains because that's just how the life is. So yeah, if you sum it all up, on an average, you can expect to pay around 20 to 25,000 per person per month and live here comfortably. And obviously it can be lower or higher depending on a lot of preferences. A lot of things here were subjective. Personally, as for me, I also on an average spend 25,000 per month, especially when I'm sharing the place with someone. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video and got a good insight into the kind of life you can live here or the kind of money that you'll be spending, and make an informed decision for yourself. Do like this video, subscribe to my channel, comment down below and tell me what other kind of videos you'd like to see from this life on the mountains. Oh, and I do have a dedicated video on my personal favorite things to do in and around Beed, so do check that out as well. And I will see you from the next video. Bye.